All right, next up, I'll turn it over again to our city manager, Mr. Warren Wood, for our next special presentation on the state parks.
We have an opportunity, a possible opportunity to land a state park in the Hickory area, and I'd like to ask Tom Kenney, the Land Protection Director with Foothills Conservancy, to come forward to give a presentation on what that process looks like and what their role in that might be.
All right.
Mayor and Council, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to share with you information about an exciting opportunity to hopefully establish a new state park in Catawba County. And I even got something where I'm going to ask your help and support further. But first, thank you very much. Last fall, Council approved a letter of support basically saying that we would welcome a new state park in Catawba County. That and other letters of support from other local governments in Catawba County, and I believe Catawba County as well, made a big difference. And it actually played a role in us getting a grant that maybe in the years to come will be a property that is available to citizens and folks right on the Jacob Fork River in Catawba County. But I'd like to update you on the park acquisition effort and ask your help in terms of some property that we have a contract to acquire that adjoins City of Hickory property. So we'll go ahead and proceed with the presentation. But first I wanted to tell you a little bit about Foothills Conservancy. We are a land trust based in Morganton that serves this region of the state. And we were established in 1995. We work directly with landowners and partners, local government, state government, community groups on behalf of conservation. And we do that in a variety of ways, but what it boils down is we help landowners and communities protect those special places in their communities. Places for wildlife, places for outdoor recreation, places that help keep our water supplies clean, and things that benefit our wonderful scenery from the Blue Ridge Mountains to our rivers. So I want to take a brief moment. Andrew Cota, Foothills Conservancy's executive director, is with me this evening. We've both been with the Land Trust a long time, and over our 23 years working with our variety of partners, we've helped protect, I think, about 58,000 acres in the 8 counties you see in our Land Trust region. So from Catawba County and Alexander County on the east, moving west basically to the Blue Ridge Mountains, you see the locations of our completed projects, and we're very eager and excited about opportunities to get some conservation projects completed in the Hickory area in Catawba County. So this is a map that you're familiar with. I believe it was shared with you last fall when you were asked to provide your letter of support. But basically, we work very closely with North Carolina state parks and local governments. State Parks is really interested in this concept of a new state park that focuses on the Henry Fork and Jacob Fork rivers in the county. There's already some existing parks, including Hickory's Park on the Henry Fork River, Newton's Park down where the Henry Fork and Jacob Fork come together. I didn't ask if there was a way to point on that, but and then Catawba County's park at Baker's Mountain. In light green, you see some opportunities that we've identified where we're actually already making contacts to landowners. All our work is with willing landowners that are either willing to donate or sell property for conservation. So I'd like to point out the opportunity on the Jacob Fork River, more toward the middle of the map, We are actually going to close on the purchase of that property, 188 acres, by May of this year. And we hope that is the first property that becomes part of the new state park in Catawba County. And what I would like to talk about the rest of the evening is a great opportunity on the Henry Fork River. And this is between Highway 127 and Sandy Ford Road, where the city of Hickory had, okay, great, yeah. Okay, so this is the property, the 188 acres that we'll be acquiring by May on the Jacob Fork River. And I'd like to share with you more about the effort to acquire these properties for the state park. So let's focus in on the project that we're very excited about right now. So this is a total of about 460 acres total. That's maybe the maximum size of the project we're looking at right now. Outlined in purple, you see a property that we now have under contract. We basically have an option to buy it if we're able to raise the funds to purchase the property from a willing landowner. And it happens to adjoin the city's property shaded in light orange there. You can see how they fit very well together for a great public park area that could provide trails, public river access, and other outdoor passive type recreation amenities. Very convenient access from Highway 321. I don't think you could probably have more convenient access for parks than right off one of your major highways in the region. So this is where we're at in this effort, this particular project. Of course, we've already communicated with North Carolina State Parks about this opportunity. It's early in the process, but they're very interested. In the North Carolina General Assembly, we're still waiting for some new legislation to authorize the Division of Parks and Recreation to actually own land in Catawba County. And once they have that authorization, they'll even be able to request state funds that only the North Carolina State Parks has access to. So what we're doing right now is really facilitating that. We're trying to take advantage of properties that are available and go ahead and line up opportunities to help build this new state park. So I mentioned the contract we have on some private property. That's actually 303 acres of property undeveloped, mostly on the east side of the Henry Fork River. The funding source that land trusts like Foothills Conservancy work with on a regular basis every year is called the North Carolina Clean Water Management Trust Fund, and we are already working to prepare a funding application to submit early next month to help pay for this property that's under contract. And so that brings me to you this evening and the help we would like to ask from you. In order to demonstrate that we have some matching funds and some other sources of funds to bring to bear on this effort, we ask the city to consider a letter of intent or a willingness to donate the city's property to a new North Carolina State Park. And by doing that, if that's something the city will help us with, we can get the credit of that property's value counted as matching funds toward this effort to raise the money to buy the adjoining property. And then, so we will work on this effort over the next 9 months. In September, hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be awarded the Clean Water Grant that will go toward the purchase of that property adjoining the cities. We've already also raised $50,000 of private funds to kind of chip into this effort. We have some great partners that help a lot on a lot of our conservation projects. And if all goes well, the Conservancy, Foothills Conservancy, will go ahead and step in and buy and hold the property until the time that we can sell it to North Carolina State Parks. We're going to temporarily tap some of our internal funds so that we don't miss a good opportunity to help get this new state park created. What we would ask is if we're successful in getting the grants to purchase the property, when the properties are ready to be transferred to the state of North Carolina, that at that time the city donate and transfer their property to the new state park. So at this stage, as I conclude my presentation, we're really just asking for another letter of support or letter of intent that you're willing to consider this project and donate, perhaps not all of the property shown, but most of the property to accompany the land we're trying to purchase on the Henry Fork River. And I'm glad to take any questions if you have any, but I just want to close my remarks this evening by thanking you all again, and we look forward to working with the city and Catawba County to help make this new state park a reality.
Can I, just a little background on that property. The city purchased that back in the 90s for economic development purposes that obviously have not transpired. We thought 321 was going to be a driver, the new 321 that's 20 years old now. And the Foothills Conservancy is used as a conduit by the state, as he described. So and I think to make his application even stronger, not a letter of intent, but an option to purchase with a date out a number of years. So whereas if the state park did not transpire, the property would revert back to the city, some sort of scenario like that. And if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, so in the packet, it's a letter of intent, so we would change the resolution that's in the packet to an option to purchase.
Yeah, and there's a resolution in there that I'm requesting that you authorize the city manager to develop that paperwork with them, and we can show it to you, to expedite getting it in the application and getting it done.
And just so it's clear to the audience, this isn't the first time we've heard about this. We've had some discussions at the state level, at the county level, and of course with our staff. So it may sound like this is the first time we're hearing about this, but it's definitely not. So I just want to make sure that they understand that.
Do we need a vote for this?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure if there's any more discussions or if there's any questions from Mr. Kenney or anybody else on staff, I want to make that opportunity available.
I move we approve a resolution to allow the city manager to further.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion from council? Any questions or discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed, like sign? That motion carries.
And they've also received funds for a planning grant. Is that related to?
Yes, thank you very much. I forgot to mention that. In addition, yes, we received from the same Clean Water Management Trust Fund a planning grant. Funds that will total about $43,000. Our intention and our goal with that grant fund is to work with the City of Hickory, Catawba County, and some other stakeholders, and particularly with the North Carolina Division of Parks and Recreation, to look at the Henry Fork and Jacob Fork rivers and study the resources and get a blueprint, basically, for the parkland and the recreation opportunities that we'd like to focus on, while also providing those natural resource protection benefits that are important to this source of funding. So we're excited about that. That will also happen over the next 12 to 18 months, and we look forward to the city's participation in that process.
I'll just add that this is an economic development driver. I mean, this is something that, from what we see in other areas of the state where they do have access to a state park, that does drive the economy, and it is something that's in conjunction with other things we are doing related to trails and walking and biking and opportunities on the water. So this goes hand in hand with some things that we're already doing.
Thank you very much. You're very correct. I know that Burke County and McDowell County, a lot of our counties to the west are actively working with Foothills Conservancy and state parks on projects like this because they're seeing real benefits in terms of new residents and visitors attracted to places like Lake James and South Mountain State Park. So we're very excited about this, and just want to thank you again for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.